You smell that, Rube? A little bit of sunscreen, some grass, sweat. It's football season.
You're enjoying this way too much.
It was a fun first day of training camp today.
It was good to be back out there. Some major changes. I know you're having trouble adjusting to. We'll get to that.
We'll get to a lot of it. It was a fun first day. This is the Eagle Eye Podcast presented by Nissan. He's Reuben Frank, and I'm Dave Zangaro. Day one of Eagles training camp. They reported to training camp on Tuesday. First practice, 10 a.m. on Wednesday. We spoke with Nick Sirianni, Howie, Roseman before practice. We'll get into what they said a little bit later in the pod, but it's always just fun. It does have kind of a back-to-school type feel.
It does, and I guess the one striking thing for me was this does not look or seem like a team that is coasting after a Super Bowl. There's no sign of that. I don't know exactly what you look for from that standpoint, but certainly it's a hungry team. They don't like talking about last year. It's a little weird because the ring ceremony was just a few days ago, so there's that. And
that wasn't planned. I want to get into that a little bit later in the pod because that was not the initial plan, and right. I wonder if that's irritating some people.
Could be. Yeah, it was supposed to be, I guess, a month earlier. There was production issues with the rings. But yeah, I just like what I see as far as the hunger and the motivation, and they just don't seem like a team that's now. Look, every team that wins a Super Bowl says the same thing. It's only one day of training camp, so you're not going to go crazy with it. But I like what I see, and it all comes from Jalen and Nick. They set the tone for that, and they're certainly not guys that are resting on their laurels. So I like what I've seen from that standpoint.
What does that expression mean?
I like what I've seen.
No, rest on their laurels. What's a laurel? Do you know?
I mean, laurels, like, you know, when you win, like, don't like when you win a horse race, you get laurels. The horse gets.
Oh, is that what that means? Oh, yes. Interesting. Okay. But yeah, it was a hour, 17-minute practice. I think Nick might have added a period because it was originally scheduled for an hour. Well, the developmental period was on the end of that.
Yeah.
That was the last thing. So sometimes they don't include that in the, I guess it's like a post-practice script, but it's part of practice. Everyone's around.
Yeah.
No one leaves the field.
No. So, yeah, it was a good start.
It was. I figure we can just kind of go through some of my practice observations. If I missed anything, let me know. But we'll start with some housekeeping items because that's kind of where we should start. Not a big surprise, but Nakobe Dean placed on the active PUP list, physically unable to perform. This basically means that he's not going to practice right now. He still counts toward the 90-man roster. He can be removed from the PUP at any time, but in order to be on the reserve PUP, which saves the roster spot at final cuts, you need to be on this one first.
Correct. And then I would guess he would begin the season on that list and miss at least 4 games. I'm guessing. We don't really know. He was out there. It's good to see him. He
was out there. Watched him do some kind of mental walkthrough type reps on his own after practice. So he's moving around a little bit. He's not, he's decently far along in this rehab.
Yeah, which is encouraging, but it's not like he's close to playing or coming back, but he's out there, and that's a good sign. That's always a good sign.
Yeah, and we'll see. Like, is he a candidate to be on the reserve PUP and miss 4 games? Like, yeah, we think he is based on what we know of that generic injury. You never know. We'll see how the summer goes, but the bit of good news at linebacker.
I'm just going to interrupt you. I'm sorry, but I did ask. Not. No, actually, I am. I asked Zach Bond, and obviously he and Nakobe are very, very close. I asked him how he's doing, and do you have to really, try to keep him up and keep him positive? He said, one thing you never have to worry about is keeping Nakobe positive. He said he's always positive. He said he's doing great. He's got a great attitude. Rehab's going well, and can't wait to get back out there.
One of my favorite memories in the locker room after the Eagles won the Super Bowl was catching up with Nakobe Dean, because after a guy gets hurt, he's not around us anymore. He might be around his teammates, but he's not around media anymore. So it was nice to catch up with him. And the one thing that struck me so much was that he was just thrilled. There was not an ounce of him that was mad or upset or jealous that he didn't get to play in that game.
Gosh, I wonder who was.
I don't want to do that. But it was it really struck me just yeah, he of course he was a part of the Super Bowl. He deserved that honor, and he was just looking forward to rehab, which is a tough road to go down, especially for that injury. But he was really looking forward to it.
Yeah, just can't lose sight of how good he was before he got hurt.
Yeah, and we'll see. We've talked about that position and what's going to happen when they're all eventually healthy. If that happens, I don't know. You'll figure it out at a certain point. But the good bit of news at linebacker today was Jihaad Campbell was practicing. And if you remember back in the spring, Vic Fangio said it wouldn't be until August when we'd see Jihaad Campbell. But either that timeline accelerated or maybe Vic was a little confused about it. But Jihaad Campbell was on the field today.
Or maybe it's August.
Could be August.
Yeah, that was good to see. He was limited.
Limited, but did team drills.
You did.
So I think it was more like a pitch count and more of a pitch count than like holding him back from doing anything. Yeah.
And he did some work with Wash, which was interesting.
Mm-hmm. He
was with Wash, who obviously coaches the overhang players.
That's Jeremiah Washburn.
So he's getting some work as an edge rusher, just kind of making sure he's up on that. But
not in team drills. In team drills, he was an off-ball inside linebacker.
Yes, gotta stop doing that.
I did both.
Okay,
but yeah, I think that's a really good sign. And we'll get into depth charts. He wasn't with the first team. I think that's just a rookie thing. I think eventually we're going to see him next to Zach Bond in that defense.
I would think so.
Okay,
could be soon.
Could be. The full injury report today: Jalen Carter and Kenyon Green both did not practice. Jalen Carter, shoulder injury; Kenyon Green, knee injury. Don't know a ton about those injuries, but it's kind of safe to assume that they're not deemed significant. If they were, they'd probably be on either the PUP or the NFI. That's non-football injury.
Yep.
But they're not. So the team thinks they'll be back relatively soon. And then the two limited participants were Campbell and Cam Jurgens, two guys coming off of off-season surgery.
I think Cam is probably the same situation as Jihaad. I mean, he's just on a pitch count.
Yeah, he got team reps today. Was kind of like he would start a period and then they would throw Brett Toth in there to finish it off. But
thank God Brett Toth is still here for the 17th year in a row.
Roster move from before practice. They signed Joe Evans, a defensive tackle. They worked him out earlier in the week, and they waived injured Marcus Tate, a lineman they brought in. They liked from Tennessee, but he was hurt in the spring, and he's still hurt now, so he's gone. And also on my attendance sheet today, 62, Jason Kelsey's still out there.
It's not going to end anytime soon.
Yeah, no jersey, of course, but he was out there today.
I was surprised BG wasn't out there.
Yeah, it's funny. Lane said the same thing. He thought for sure he'd see BG yesterday or today, and he wasn't there.
He said he said it wasn't the same without all that cursing.
Well, the funny thing about BG, and the guys always say this, is like they'd get there in the morning, and before they'd even get there, BG would be in full pads, like ready to go. And they're like, BG, we don't practice for another 4 hours. But he would just get to the building and put his pads on.
Yeah, it's got to be weird for Lane. I mean, like he's grown up. I mean, he literally grew up with Kelsey, Fletch, and BG, and he's the last man standing.
It is crazy. He's now the oldest guy on the team, too.
Isn't the long snapper older? That guy from Cleveland?
Charlie Hewlett? I don't think so.
He was 38 or something.
Oh, is he older?
I think he's older.
No, he's 35 as well.
Huh. So he was May of 90, and Lane is
he's a few days older. Lane.
They're both May of 90.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
Oldest player.
All right. You want to get into some depth chart stuff?
Let's do it.
On offense, not as much on offense to go through, but Tyler Steen got every single rep at right guard. Notable, but also worth noting, this time last year, he got every single rep at right guard before he eventually suffered that minor ankle injury.
Yeah, that's true. I'm still curious how that goes. I mean, great. Hey, look, if he's really reinvented himself as an NFL starting right guard, consistent, dominating player, good for him. I still think that whole story is yet to be written.
I think reinventing is not the right word. I think develop. He's still really young. He's a third-year player. So I think it's possible he just develops into being a more consistent right guard. Are you still of the belief it's going to be Matt Pryor?
Well, I'm not going to change my mind now. Yeah.
I'm. That's my next question is like how deep, like how many days into camp of seeing Tyler Steen at right guard where you go, okay, it's probably his job.
Well, let's get the pads on.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's
go
now.
From there, I think so. If let's say this, the first practice day after the first preseason game.
Okay.
If he's still getting all the reps, then I'll give him the job.
Okay.
I'll give him. He can have.
I'll let Stout know.
You do that.
Yeah, but Matt Pryor, worth noting, second team right guard. So, kind of a sneaky competition, I guess, in a way. You're getting him reps at that position. Kenyon Green was the guy when they got him in that trade. We thought maybe he's going to be the competitor, but third team in the spring, hurt to begin the summer. I think he's not just on the bubble, but I think he's going to have to fight to even make this team.
Oh, and I've been saying that all along. Yeah. I don't think he does make the team.
Yeah.
And this certainly doesn't help. I mean, we don't know how long he'll be out, but it's not helping himself.
Want to go through the offensive lines?
Yep.
First team from left to right, Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, Tyler Steen, Lane Johnson. When Jurgens came out, Brett Toth went in there, but it was for like maybe 15, 25% of the snaps. Second team offensive line, again, left to right, Kendall Lamb, Brett Toth, Drew Kendall, Matt Pryor, Darian Kennard. Significant change there. Drew Kendall is now the second team center. Brett Toth is moved to guard. Part of me wants to say that's because Toth hasn't been snapping the ball well in the spring, and we're in year like 3 of that. But then they're getting a first team reps when Jurgens comes out. So I don't know exactly what to make of that, but I like Drew Kendall. I'm curious to see where his summer goes.
I really like Brett Toth. That kid's coming on here in his 8th year with the Eagles. What was his first year here? Was it 19?
I think it was 19.
7th year?
Yeah. And he left for a little while to go to Arizona.
Yeah. Running back.
Third team offensive line. Miles Hinton at left tackle. Laken Vakalehi at left guard. Trevor Keegan at center. Holland Pierce at right guard. Cameron Williams at right tackle. Trevor Keegan, the center experiment, we saw some of it in the spring. That's now continuing into training camp. Is that good or bad for Trevor Keegan?
I think there's a chance you spelled Laken's last name wrong in your obs. I probably shouldn't say that on the air. I'm just looking at it. It just doesn't look right. I think it's VA. Sorry. Trevor Keegan being third team, is that good, you're asking me?
Uh-huh.
No. No, I think at this point he should be. I mean, yeah, he's in his second year as a 5th round pick. I mean, he's got to do something special to make the team the way things are lining up now.
Okay. And Holland Pierce was a tackle at Rutgers. He's now playing guard. He played guard in the spring, so I guess that's going to be his role.
I would think so.
Okay. Miles Hinton at left tackle. He got some reps at right tackle in the spring, so I think they're getting ready for him to. I mean, Kendall Lamb's ahead of him. He's the veteran, but I think Miles Hinton, of those 2 day 3 tackles, is a little more intriguing to me than Cameron Williams.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he gets second team reps, and they're not married to Kendall Lamb by any stretch. So I would think that he would move up at some point soon. Something to keep an eye on. Huge dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's real big. So is Cameron Williams, for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Third string quarterback, Kyle McCord. He got the first reps of the third team, and then Dorian Thompson-Robinson filled in a little bit, but it seems pretty clear that McCord's ahead of him.
He better be. You drafted him. Yeah.
Defensive depth chart notes, and these are the more fun ones, honestly, because there's more jobs up for grabs on defense. When the Eagles came out in team drills in their base package, they had Cooper DeJean back at safety next to Reed Blankenship. And then when they went to nickel in their sub packages, DeJean popped up to the nickel, and he was replaced first by Sidney Brown.
That surprised you at all?
Which part of it?
The Sidney part?
No. I eventually Drew Makuba did get some first team reps. I think they're going to continue to rotate there, and they're always going to show deference to a veteran early on. Like any young player, any rookie, they're going to try to earn that job.
Yeah, I would agree. I just thought where Makuba was drafted, maybe he would be a little different, but I think that's the right way to do it. It's not like Sidney's done anything to hurt his chances other than getting hurt. So yeah, I think he deserves that first crack at it.
And we've talked about Dean being on the field in the base package, which is not a ton of snaps. It's like 15% of their snaps. They don't live in base. They really live in nickel. So he's not really changing positions. He's just like adding another one on his plate. And the more I think about it, like we were talking back in early spring and I was saying like outside corner makes more sense. I think safety probably makes more sense.
I mean, he can do either.
Mm-hmm.
I think he can do anything in the secondary, but I like the thought of him as safety.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
And that's not like a position switch. So I want to be careful about that. People get upset when you mention him being a safety, but it's a limited time.
It's a position addition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cornerback, Quinyon Mitchell, still the left cornerback. Right cornerback in 11-on-11s was Keely Ringo. Adoree Jackson got some work in 7-on-7. So Keely Ringo got the first crack at it today.
Yeah, and he had an up and down day.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But
depth chart wise, I'm sorry,
depth chart wise,
ahead of myself. But again, you're deferring to the guy who's been here. Obviously, Adoree Jackson's more of a veteran, but yeah, the guy who's the incumbent gets the first crack at the job.
Yeah, and we mentioned Jihaad Campbell getting second team reps. First team reps went to Jeremiah Trotter Jr. next to Zach Bond.
Same deal.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a 0% chance Trotter is the week 1 starter. I think it's unlikely. I think ultimately it's going to be Jihaad Campbell, but they like Trot. And Vic probably trusts him a little bit more right now. Campbell's coming off an injury. I think there's a non-zero chance. Yeah,
I would agree. And I think part of that equation is Trot just being in a second year under Vic and Bobby King. But I also think, like, we don't know Jihaad. We don't know the extent of that shoulder, how his reps are going to go over the next month. He might be limited for a couple of weeks. Is he going to be behind? That's why I think it's a non-zero chance. I still think it'll be the rookie. But I think Trot's a pretty good option as well.
Yeah. And after that, Smile Mondin was next to him, the other rookie. So not a ton of depth at linebacker right now.
Yeah. But some intriguing players.
Yeah, and obviously a lot better than what they've ever had in the last decade before this. So you feel pretty good about it.
Last 30 years before this.
Yeah. Top defensive line, remember no Jalen Carter, was Nolan Smith, Moro Ujima, Jordan Davis, and Jalix Hunt. Jordan Davis is like half of Jordan Davis.
He looks svelte.
Yeah.
Look good.
Yeah. He looks, I mean, it's noticeable. And part of me wonders about that. Like, what made him such a special prospect was that he was that athletic at that size. And if he's not at that size, can he still be a special player? I don't know. I don't know like where the line is on that, but it's something in the back of my mind.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I also think we know he's got to play more snaps.
Mm-hmm.
With Milton gone and with the lack of depth that they really have on the inside, he can't be a 35% guy this year. So I think if he, can keep that weight off and still be a dominating run stopper, maybe it'll help him get to the quarterback a little more, which we saw signs of late in the year. It could be a positive, but it is something to keep an eye on.
Yeah. Let's get into some of the observations from today. I thought Quinyon Mitchell had maybe the play of the day. Single coverage against A.J. Brown down the right sideline. I thought he just timed it really well, got in there, broke up a pass. On a ball that looked pretty good to me. I thought it was just a better play by Q.
It was a great throw by Jalen. I thought it was a rep where like AJ did everything in his toolbox to make that play, and Quinyon just didn't fall for it. It was a great rep for both of them, and it was not DPI. I didn't.
AJ after practice said he thought it was DPI, but he still said he gave the win on that rep to Quignon. And if you're giving the rep to a guy you say interfered, I don't know.
What did you think? I mean,
I thought it was clean.
Yeah, they were coming right at me. I thought it was a terrific rep for that kid. He was a little he was a little physical with him at the end of the snap, but it wouldn't have gotten the flag. I really to see a play like that from both of them on the first day was pretty cool.
Yeah, it is fun. And we remember last year, we're all kind of like surprised. Quignon's like in AJ's face talking some trash. They went back and forth last year. There were a few plays too where like AJ wanted them. It was like, they weren't lining up. Like sometimes you go through one-on-ones. They didn't do one-on-ones today, but like sometimes you go through one-on-ones and it's just like, it's a matter of who ends up. They like counted it out and made sure they went against each other. And that was fun last year. It's going to be fun again this year.
Yeah, I was waiting for a little trash talking, but after that snap, Quignon just turned around and went back to the huddle, and AJ was just kind of standing there behind him. And
he was probably waiting for it.
Yeah, it probably was.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
We mentioned Keely Ringo having an up and down day. I thought he left some plays out there that he's probably going to look back on tape and be a little upset with himself on. The first one in particular, it was Terrace Marshall down the right sideline. It looked like he just stopped running. I don't know if he expected a double move, like what happened there. Because he's long. He's 6'2", Keely Ringo, and a lot of times he'll have the length that, like, even if he comes up short, he'll be able to knock a ball down. It's rare that you see a ball go over his head like that. That's not like a super long 9 round,
Yeah. Yeah, and like if you give up a play to AJ Brown, okay, you gave a play to AJ Brown, but Keely should be able to be a little more competitive with Terrace Marshall.
Yeah. And then there was an AJ Brown play, and this was a hard one to fault Ringo for. It was just like a beautiful ball from Jalen. AJ high pointed it. It's like, he's one of the best receivers in the league. He's going to make a play on you sometimes. Then there was one later in practice against Terrace Marshall on an underneath route where I think if Keely times it better, he's able to get in front of him and knock the pass down. Marshall did a nice job. He kind of used his body to shield Keely from the football. But ideally, like, that's a play you want Keely to make, especially after getting beat a couple times. It's like you have a chance for redemption there. It's right there on day one, and you let it get away.
Yeah, the AJ one didn't really bother me. I thought he did all he could on that snap. But yeah, the two Terrace Marshall ones, he looked rusty, I thought, which, like, it just, like you said, his timing was off a little, and that shouldn't be the case. So keep an eye on that.
Yeah, it's day one. I'm still really bullish on Keely Ringo. I think he's clearly their best option to be a starting outside corner. I think he's right now better than Adoree Jackson, and I think that in 2 months, if he gets to start, like, I think he's going to be significantly better than Adoree Jackson. So I wouldn't panic, but first day.
Yeah, I wouldn't panic, certainly, but something to keep an eye on. I thought, like, he's got to be better than he was today, but I expect him to.
Yeah. Jalix Hunt had a nice rep against Jordan Mailata, got a sack. Can't touch the quarterback, but he's fun. And Mailata, after practice, talking him up it's fun to hear. Mailata was joking that, like, man, I had Josh Sweat and now I have Jalix Hunt to worry about. Like, this is not right.
He said Sweat finally leaves and I got Jalix Hunt now. He's really high on him. He spoke glowingly about him, and he thinks he's gonna be a star in this league. I'm bullish on the player, but to hear Jordan Mailata talk like that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I there's a lot to like about Jalix Hunt. Sidney Brown, this wasn't even a real football play, but it's just something that I'm monitoring for my own personal joy. There was one play where Avery Williams kind of coming across the middle. It's like at the end of the play, the ball is nowhere near them, and Sidney just shoved him and like threw him to the ground. And it's just like, I like the edge that Sidney Brown plays football with.
Yeah, and that's the Sidney Brown we saw 2 years ago. He's going to play to the whistle and then a little bit beyond it. And that's just, he's going to get penalties and he's going to get flags, but I like the player. I like the way, I like his feistiness. Now the other parts of the game we'll see, but he offers a lot.
Yeah. And on day one,
just physical. Yeah. Fun player.
Day one, I am staking my claim. The first fight of training camp will involve Sidney Brown.
It's a good bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Safe bet.
Yeah. Normally it takes me a few days into it to pick a guy. I picked my guy on day one this year. It's going to be Sydney.
And Avery Williams.
I don't think Avery wants that smoke, but someone else will.
That's true.
Yeah. Ben Van Sumeren at fullback.
This falls into the category of, as soon as I saw this play, I knew it was going to end up in Obbs.
He got a handoff, Rube.
Yes, he did.
Third team offense, but they actually handed the football off.
He looked quick.
Yeah, he looked good, hit the hole. And then a little bit later in practice, they put him out there with the first team, Saquon Barkley on the field with him. It was his first team rep. So, day one of training camp, you're getting the fullback out there. It at least tells me it's in the playbook and they plan on using it.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's not a lot of conclusions you can draw, but it's out there. I mean, if he's going to rep with the first team, was that the rep that never happened? Was there a penalty?
That was before. So there's one rep that did count. And then the very next rep, there was a false start and they never ran the play. And I was pretty upset because we got robbed of a Ben Van Sumeren fullback play.
How do you think he felt?
Yeah. Probably less worse than I did.
Yeah, probably less worse.
I don't know what to make of this. Avery Williams
this is weird.
Was not with the punt returner group today.
How do you explain that?
I thought that's why he was here. I don't know.
Maybe they really like him on offense.
I don't know.
They saw our teams that we picked, that we drafted.
They were like, Rube's got him going second round.
Not exactly, but
yeah, they had Cooper DeJean, Anais Smith, Jahan Dotson, and Taylor Morin back there.
Could it be they're just comfortable with Avery Williams and they just want to get a look at other guys?
Day one, they haven't seen him yet. He was hurt all spring.
I agree. I know.
I don't know. It was weird.
Maybe he was banged up from the Sidney Brown altercation.
Well, he did have an injury in the spring. He didn't practice, but he was doing team drills today.
Yeah.
So there's something weird there. Got to do more digging, or we'll talk to Michael Clay, I guess.
Eventually. So just we'll monitor that because Avery Williams is the guy that we all kind of thought if he makes the team, he's going to return punts and kicks. But day one of camp, he's not back there. Yeah, which it's early, but it's not a real good sign for his future.
Mm-hmm. My favorite play of the day, Tanner McKee rollout, QB keeper, showed some wheels down the sideline.
He looked quick, didn't
he? It was a fun play. Whenever you have a big lanky quarterback take off, the whole team starts to get excited about it.
Yeah, got a little reaction from the sidelines.
Yeah,
but he can move a little. It's important to note that. I mean, he's not.
Yeah, he's not a statue.
Yeah. You don't want him running, you don't want him doing Jalen numbers, but he can move a little bit. I was impressed. Yeah. My
stupid observation of the day, they moved our media tent, and it's just going to take a minute to get used to for me.
Isn't it back where it used to be?
No, it used to be right next to that that tunnel. Not tunnel, that opening.
The double doors?
Yeah.
So now we're two over?
Uh-huh.
So it's our third location in 3 years?
Yeah, maybe.
Interesting.
I like it though. It's not near the where the players come out. That was always a tough one because fans were excited. The select fans who were there, they're excited. The players coming out, they're yelling and screaming, but then we're trying to hear Nick Sirianni, and sometimes it's tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those were observations from day one.
I've one observation you missed.
Okay.
They brought the loudest, biggest speakers in.
They did
to blast training camp music.
And I'm going to have to change.
You were standing right in front of them.
Standing right in front of them.
What were you doing?
Well, my thought was that no one else was there, so I had some space to myself, and there were no fans behind me. I always feel bad blocking the view, even though I'm not tall enough to really block anyone's view. But I always feel bad, I feel like I'm in the way. So I decided to stand. I can't do that again tomorrow. I won't be able to hear you if I do that.
Yeah, it was
loud.
It was loud.
Some of your favorite songs were getting
Wall
played,
of
though.
Sound. Yeah.
You had some of your favorites?
Yeah, we're not going to talk about the music.
All right, let's take a little break. I want to get into what Nick Sirianni had to say, Howie Roseman, and a bunch of different players.
You deserve a car that thrills you, a car that puts goosebumps on your goosebumps. At Nissan, we've got everything from turbocharged SUVs to 100% electric vehicles that'll make your heart beat faster. Experience the thrill for yourself and shop your local Nissan store and NissanUSA.com today.
All right, we're back on the Eagle Eye Podcast. Reuben Frank and Dave Zangaro. We were a little nice surprise when we went out to the practice field this morning. We get to the media tent. We look at the table in the front, 2 microphones.
Yeah, and 2 microphones back in the old days meant the trainer was coming up and somebody was out for the year. Here's Rick Burkholder with a plastic ankle. But now it means the general manager is talking.
Always enjoy talking to Howie. He talks a lot less frequently than he used to. It's kind of crazy to think he used to have a weekly radio show.
He did, didn't he?
You know, it's like, I don't know if that's the best thing for a general manager to do, but we're kind of on the other end of it now. We don't get to hear from Howie very often.
And he had a radio show before he was like good.
Yeah. Yeah. Before, I mean, now he's considered one of, if not the best GM in the NFL. Back then he was just one of 32.
And he was closer to 32 than 1. But yeah, he was, I wish we talked to him more. This was the first time we talked to him since draft.
Yep.
April. We probably won't talk to him again. We'll talk to him at final cuts, and that'll be it until either Super Bowl or, well, probably Super Bowl.
Any big takeaways?
I'll be trying to figure out which chair he's going to be in again.
From hearing from Howie and Nick today.
So Howie's talked in the past about just how he did things differently this year than 18 coming off the Super Bowl. I thought he was especially good talking about it, really detailed, talking about the lessons that he learned from trying to run it back with that 2017 team. I don't know how it struck you, but I thought it was really good explaining why you can't do that and why you have to not make decisions based on, personal feelings and emotions. You have to make difficult ones that aren't real fun, but they're best for the team. And it was good. It was good stuff. Yeah,
you're right. He's mentioned that before, like the sentimentality of it. And he mentioned that before he won a Super Bowl again, right? Like he's mentioned them trying to run it back in 18, 19, 20 and why it didn't work. I think the lessons learned there are informing the way he's handling it this year. But I also think that naturally they're in a better position this time than they were coming off that 17 Super Bowl.
Well, they have more good young players back.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a younger roster. It's the youngest defense in the league. It's crazy. Zach Bond was talking about how he's like the old guy. He's like, I'm not the old guy. I'm just still new at this. Yeah, Howie's, I think one of the things that's made him such a good GM is he's learned from his mistakes, and he's not, his ego is big, but it's not too big to admit that he's made mistakes and he's learned from them.
I also loved his answer when asked about the way the Eagles prioritize signing their guys early and keeping everyone happy, because like you look at the Eagles, and in a way, we were kind of joking about this before camp started today. Like, in a way, they're kind of a boring team. There's no drama right now. At least even last year, there was like, hey, did the head coach and the quarterback hate each other? Like, there's nothing in terms of drama right now. They don't have any major contract negotiations or holdouts over their head, where you look around the league and yeah, I mean, there are issues. You've got the mess in Dallas and in Cincinnati and like all around the league, you see this, and the Eagles have just been so good at avoiding all of those pitfalls. And it I think it really does matter.
Yeah. And I think an important thing to remember is, and I wrote about this in my obs this week, I guess on Sunday, like even if you resolve your contract issues before the season, they can lead to hard feelings. They can lead to jealousy. They can lead to ill will. It's kind of like arbitration in baseball. Like, all right, we got the contract done, but like you said all these mean things about me. I said mean things about you. It can have a really damaging effect. I don't know how Micah Parsons and Dak Prescott go out and play. I'm sure they will. They're professionals. But I mean, when your owner is like publicly like just ripping you essentially
for getting hurt,
playing football.
If you haven't heard those comments, go find them. It's unreal.
And he didn't even he even said Micah missed 6 games and he missed 4 games. I mean, what are you doing here, Jerry? I mean, he's the best thing that could happen to the Eagles in the division. But, I mean, I think we looked this up. The last Eagles player to hold out was Deshaun in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Ertz it could have gotten ugly. It never really got ugly.
I mean, the ugliest part of that was he dyed his hair in protest.
Ugliest part was his hair.
Yeah.
But they were both professionals about it. And I think Howie has to manage to have contract happiness for a decade and a half is insane. And it's just so valuable to not have those jealousies in the locker room. And, you know, he's managed to get guys signed to big contracts without having the negative side of it, which is the jealousies and the how come I'm not making that much. And I got signed, but I had to hold out first and I'm bitter. It's really a tough thing to balance, and he's done it beautifully.
Mm-hmm. I don't have a ton of other big takeaways. He was asked about some of the football ops moves, spoke really glowingly of Anthony Patch, who left this offseason, but said Joe Douglas will have a role. Like, they're excited to have him back in the building. He has that official role now. What is it? Advisor to the GM. He's some made up title, but he's around and he'll help. And Howie seemed a little relieved that they weren't like completely, killed by other teams.
Yeah,
pillaging their front office this year.
Yeah, it's been an issue, but yeah, good to get Joe back. And look, I know Joe's track record with the Jets was pretty bad. It wasn't great here, but I think Howie trusts him. He likes him. He listens to him. Joe's not going to be drafting. He's just another voice in that room that Howie listens to and appreciates. And I don't think there's a bad side of it, despite what happened in Florham Park.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he didn't have a great run there,
but who has, right?
Yeah, that might be the building.
Yeah,
the boogeyman's up there.
I like that building though. We had joint practices there.
It's a nice building.
Yeah, there's a tree in the middle of the field.
There is, and I like that tree. That tree is sometimes the best thing they got going for them. Players after practice.
Yeah,
you want to get into some of that?
Yeah, we got some bigwigs.
Yeah, today was a fun day. It's the first day of camp, so they bring out all the stars. Well, some of the stars. I have too many stars to bring them all out on day one. But I'll start with Jordan Mailata, if that's cool with you.
Yeah.
He said, we're not defending bleep. And I like that. It's a fun, different way to say we've moved on from last year. But a lot of people will say, like, the defending Super Bowl champs. And it's not like they're not a heavyweight boxer. Like, you don't have the title until you lose it. Like, everyone starts fresh.
Yeah, they're not a heavyweight boxer. Who's a heavyweight champ?
I don't know.
Leon Spinks still? Yeah, I like that. And that's really, we touched on that earlier. I mean, that's like everybody on the team. You just can't get them to talk about it, which I think is great. I mean, the people asking those questions, like, kind of need to retire them, but the answers have been great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Enough of last year. It's over. It's this year. It's no longer last year.
It is not, but I don't mind the questions on day one of training camp.
I do. I hate every question that
you don't ask.
That you or I don't ask.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you including me in that.
And a couple other people.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know. Do you have anything else about Jordan Mailata?
From Jordan? Not really.
Okay.
I think you mentioned how much he was raving about Jalix Hunt.
And yeah, that was fun.
Just how tough he makes it for him. So that was good to hear.
I was not in the back when Zach Bond spoke. What do you have to say?
There. Yeah. He was asked the usual dumb questions about leadership. Do you have to be a leader now? I'm just being honest. He's been asked those questions so many times. He actually, when it was over, he called me over and he said, sometimes when you're asking a question, you answer it.
Oh, really?
You answer it while you're asking it. And then, like, all I have to do is repeat what you said, but I feel like I should add more, but you already answered it.
What do you mean?
He I asked him about the young how young the defense is, other than him, really, essentially. Yeah. And I said, what does that give you when you have so many young guys? Are they, they like super hungry, and he's like, well, yeah, you said it. They're super hungry, but like, you got to let me say it.
Yeah. Yeah. He's your editor now.
Yeah. So he was
like
he was working with me on my question asking.
I like that.
Which I appreciate.
He's got a lot on his plate too. So
you gotta, well, now he's a leader now. But you got to self-scout but it's a good point. And I said, sometimes like you have to kind of guide a player to, and he's like, well, I think most, like, are you saying you need to guide me? I'm like, no, I didn't mean that. But anyway, he did talk about being the oldest guy in the defense and how much fun it is.
It's crazy.
It is.
He's the oldest guy, but like he hasn't played.
He's in his second year as a starter.
Yeah.
And he said, it keeps me young. And he said that when you have that many guys who are, first he made the point that the young guys really love hard coaching. He said these guys have come from the SEC. They've come from big time programs. It's like Kirby Smart is working you, and
that's everything you hear from the Georgia guys is like, tell Kirby Smart, like, we're fine here.
Yeah. And he said all the young guys are like that. They all want to work. And he said part of that is just how we bring in guys that have that mentality. But he said that when you have a bunch of young guys who are that, and like it really only takes one, like if you have a first round pick who doesn't really want to work and is looking for shortcuts, it'll have a domino effect on the other draft picks, the other young guys. So
that's a good point. It's a big part of the scouting process now. You know, it's like you have to bring in the right people who are going to buy into what you're trying to do. And they spend a lot of time on that.
Yeah. And look, you have to, with the contracts they've given out on offense, you have to be young. You have to get, and Zach said, you got a bunch of guys who are playing for their second contract. That's a really good place to be.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's true. I like Zach Bonney. He's fun to speak with.
Yeah.
I talked to Lane Johnson today a little bit. Always good to talk to Lane. It's funny. It's like he's year 13 now. It's amazing.
It is. And I think he spent so much of his career kind of in the shadow of Jason Peters and Jason Kelce. And now it's like, this is a Hall of Fame player. And I mean, if he makes a Pro Bowl this year, he's tied with Kelce 7 Pro Bowls. I think JP made 9, but 7 here, 2 with the Bills, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
There's a chance Stoutland's going to have 3 Hall of Famers from one offensive line.
And Toth, you make
4 if you include Brent Toth, but he'll be a few years later.
Yeah.
What is interesting is that JP, Kelce, and Fletch are all eligible in 2029. And gosh, I think Kelce and JP could be first ballot, but I don't know. Can both of them be? Has that ever happened? Where 2 teammates, maybe with the Steelers, some of those guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if Peters will be first ballot though.
Yeah, I wonder too. But I mean, God, 9 Pro Bowls.
He was fantastic.
He was only All Pro twice, first team All Pro twice. That might hurt him a little. Didn't play in a Super Bowl. Got a ring when he was hurt, but he's going to get in at some point. I just think maybe Kelce takes the JP vote that first year.
Maybe.
And then JP goes in a couple years later.
But it's fun to for it to be the topic of Lane now because he what he's doing, and he was asked about Hall of Fame today and he didn't really want to get into it, but it was a kind of a fun moment. Saquon was off to the side and reacting when he's answering that question because he sees it. Lane's been the best right tackle in football for a long time now.
Saquon was sitting in my seat. I got up for a minute and I had this shirt and my water sitting on the chair, and he just sits down, takes it, just moves it. But yeah, I like what Saquon said. And you could see him kind of when Lane was asked about the Hall of Fame, and he's like, I don't know. I don't think about that. I'm still playing. I'm still working on this practice and tomorrow's practice. And Saquon's just kind of shaking his head dude, you're a Hall of Famer. And he was asked about it. And Saquon was good talking about it. I feel so lucky to be his teammate, even this late in my career, to learn from him and how he goes about his business. Yeah. Lane, I think you just made a great point that with Kelsey retired and Fletch retired, even BG retired, there's going to be a focus on Lane. And all of a sudden you sit back and like, whoa, this guy's got one hell of a resume himself.
Yeah, it like sneaked up on you a little bit.
Yeah.
Because like we knew he was so talented early on, but he had the 2 suspensions. And then ever since like he got back from that second suspension, he was great, but then he had the ankle and then it hindered him. Then ever since he's been back, like this stretch now, since he's gotten the ankle resolved, to me is his best stretch. And that's hard to say because before the ankle, he was so good.
Yeah.
But I think he's just as good this time.
And the ankle started in 18, I think.
18 or 19.
I think it was the London game he first got hurt in 18. I think last year might have been his best year. I really do. I mean, he just doesn't give up anything. And I don't know how much longer he's going to play. I don't know how much longer he'll play at this level, but he's really, at this point, I think he's really solidifying a legit Hall of Fame resume.
We talked to Jalen Hurts to finish it off. He was asked about, all the photos and videos came out from the ring ceremony, and people have noted that in none of those photos or videos does he actually have the ring on his finger. And he was asked about that today, and he basically just said, I've moved on to this year, which is a very Jalen response.
Yeah, that's about as Jalen as it gets. And look, it's genuine. I mean, I don't think he's going home and putting it on like, oh, nobody's going to see me.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I wish that might be a fun truth serum. Did Jalen try on the ring when he got home? I think he probably did.
I think he didn't.
Really?
Yeah, I really think that's who he is.
Man, I'd love to know that. Maybe I'll ask him that, like, away from the field.
Yeah.
Like, when you got home, though, like, you had to put it on, right?
I think he didn't.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah. But I like that. I just like his hunger and his consistency in his whole. It's not about last year. Last year's over. That last year's not going to do us any good against Dallas on opening day, in Washington, whatever. Yeah.
A few other things from Jalen. I'm fascinated by like his input into the offense, and it's very clear to me that he feels way more comfortable being assertive, talking about like what he wants in an offense. I think that a lot of that's natural, but I also think that's him kind of feeling it out. And now he has a little bit more gravitas because he's won a bunch. And I think he feels a little more emboldened to kind of say what he likes.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think it doesn't hurt that he's got a good relationship with Petula. They've known each other for years and worked together on a certain level. I'm really curious what that's going to look like when Petula's calling plays for him and how much input he'll have into that piece of it. But yeah, it seems like he's in a good place.
Mm-hmm. Anything else from Jalen?
Not from Jalen. Jalen was good today. I thought he was expansive. He was kind of giving thoughtful answers. Yeah. AJ talked also.
Yeah, I forgot AJ. Yeah, AJ Brown. Some good stuff in there. It was a very interesting moment. He was asked, I think, by Jeff McClain, like, at this point in your career, you won a Super Bowl, you've been all pro, you've done all these things. Like, what's left for your motivation? And AJ paused for as long as I've ever like seen him do this. And like, he really stopped either thinking about his answer or thinking about how he wanted to say it.
Yeah.
But eventually he landed on, and I'm paraphrasing, that like he wants to be the best receiver in the NFL. And a little bit later, it was like brought up to him, like, well, what does that mean though? Like, what's the criteria? And he said, it's just for me. Basically, like, it's not about the numbers, which is an important designation when you're talking about this offense, I think, because the numbers might not be able to be, he might not be able to get 1,600 yards, right? Like that offense, maybe, but like it's going to be harder to do that when you have a rushing attack like this one. But he said it's just for him, and he wants to know he is.
Yeah, and where would you put him right now? Put him behind Justin Jefferson? I mean,
yeah. I mean, the argument's there right now that he's the best.
You can make that case.
Yeah, Jefferson's the numbers with Jefferson are tough to get over.
Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb. I mean, there's that group of.
I think I would probably defer to Jefferson just because like the numbers have been absurd.
Yeah.
CeeDee's really good. It's
Tyreek.
Yeah.
I think that's the top 5 right there.
Okay. I think PFF ranked him number 1 this year.
Really? Jefferson or AJ?
AJ.
Oh, really?
Which, like, whatever. I think they did. Yeah. AJ Brown was number 1. They had AJ 1, Jefferson 2, Chase 3. I mean, they had Amon-Ra St. Brown 4, Puka Nacua 5, CeeDee Lamb 6, Nico Collins 7, Tyreek Hill 8, Mike Evans 9, Terry McLaurin 10.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have Tyreek Hill higher just based. I mean, last year he didn't have a great year, but the previous 2 years he had 1,700 plus yards.
Sure. But AJ's like very clearly in the conversation.
Yeah,
and it's if you say he's the best, like hard to argue.
I don't know if I put Amon-Ra St. Brown in my top 5. I mean, he's also like a possession receiver.
Mm-hmm.
He's more like, I mean, AJ, the thing about AJ, he averages 15 yards a catch. Amon-Ra St. Brown's averaging like 10.
Yeah.
That's big. Catches more balls, but yeah, anyway. Always good talking to AJ. He puts so much into his answers. You can kind of see the wheels spinning. Yeah. I enjoy that.
It was a fun first day.
It was. And Devontae talked. I didn't get back there. He was back in the second area.
Oh, I don't even know if I knew that he'd spoke.
He did speak.
Okay.
I missed it.
Okay. All right. Let's take a little break. We'll answer a couple questions and we'll wrap up day 1 of training camp. One game, one last ride in a Phillies uniform, one unforgettable moment. Relive Cole Hamels' no-hitter through his eyes. Let's watch it together, Philly. July 24th, only on NBC Sports Philadelphia. Presented by Granite Run Buick GMC. No tariffs, big savings. Where freedom comes standard. All right, Rube, let's just answer a few questions. Not a ton of time for them today, but if you have a question for us, it's eagleeye@nbcuni.com. QR code on the screen if you're watching on YouTube. First one is from Dylan. Hi, Dave and Rube. First time emailing, long-time listener. Love the podcast. I'm from Northeast Pennsylvania, Berwick to be exact.
Love Berwick.
Now living
in good diner in Berwick.
In Lynchburg, Virginia. And the podcast keeps me informed here in Commander's territory. My question is about Jalen Hurts. The main complaint I hear about Jalen here is that the team around him makes him so good that he isn't an elite quarterback. And that makes no sense to me because isn't that the whole point? Aren't you supposed to have a good team, not a quarterback dragging the team along? So how would you respond to this claim that Jalen isn't an elite, I would say top 5 quarterback because of the talent around him?
Yeah, I think he just wrote about that. I mean, like Nick said, show me a great quarterback that didn't have a great receiver. I think you can't do it. So yeah, I mean, the only answer to that is like what Nick said. I mean, Brady had Gronk, Steve Young had Jerry Rice. I mean, every great quarterback had a great receiver.
Yeah, and it's not like I don't understand it. Like, yeah, of course, this is a really good roster. Does he benefit from that? Yeah, of course he does. But it's weird that we the transitive property of talent only goes to Jalen Hurts and not from him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, AJ Brown has gotten significantly better since being here.
Sure.
You don't think Jalen has something to do with that?
A little bit.
Saquon just had a 2,000-yard season. You don't think that has anything to do with Jalen Hurts? Like, I just find it weird that the talent around him only helps Jalen, but Jalen's talent doesn't help around him. It shouldn't work that way.
Yeah, I think, and look, there's just people out there that want their quarterback to stand in the pocket and throw for 5,000 yards, and that's not who he is. And a lot of the commentators are quarterbacks, or former quarterbacks, or former players that come from an era when that's what people wanted from their quarterback. And it's just,
I don't know. Cam Newton was.
What did he do?
He had. I think he didn't have Jalen in his top 10. Was that it?
Why is Cam Newton ranking anything?
I think that's what it was. I've kind of started to tune out the rankings.
Yeah. I'm not big on lists and that kind of thing.
Yeah, he left him off his top 10. Jalen, by the way, was asked about whether or not he pays attention to those rankings, if they mean anything to him. He sidestepped the question. I'd be shocked though, like knowing what we know about Jalen, that I think it probably does fuel him a little bit.
Oh, there's no question about it. I think he's even admitted that at times.
Yeah, it's like you can't model yourself after Michael Jordan and then not do those things, right? Like, of course, like any slight or made up slight is going to be used as motivation.
It doesn't even have to be real.
Mm-hmm. All right, one more here. Let's finish it up from Joe. Hey, Dave and Rube, let's say you had a crystal ball and saw the outcome of this season. You see the Eagles repeat as Super Bowl champs. What 3 things have happened to lead to this outcome? Vice versa, you see the Eagles finish 10-7, go in as a wild card team, and lose in the first round, probably to the Bucs in Tampa. What 3 things happened to lead to this outcome, excluding injuries? So let's start with the best case scenario for the Eagles. They repeat as Super Bowl champions. What are the main factors?
If they repeat us, I would say number 1, Kevin Patullo's emerged as a elite play caller.
Okay.
I would say number 2, young guys on defense took the next step. Nolan Smith, Jalen Hunt, Keeley, Sidney, all those guys took the next step. Makuba, whoever ends up being. And number 3, that Saquon was able to, even if he didn't rush for 2,000 yards, was able to have another big year.
Yeah, I like those. All right, flip side. Season ends in Tampa. House of Horrors, Raymond James Stadium in the wild card round. We all go, how did this happen? How did it happen? And it's tough to exclude injuries because we obviously know that would likely be a big reason if the season doesn't go to plan, but I get why we're not including them.
I mean, I guess the obvious thing to say would be Jalen starts turning the ball over like he did at the end of 2023.
Okay.
That would be one. I mean, it's just the flip side of the defense. Like if look, there's a lot of players that have to replace on defense, and there's no guarantee that they're going to be able to do it. So I would say number 2 would be the defense just never comes together post Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, Isaiah Rodgers, whoever. All they lost on defense. CJ, obviously. So that'd be number 2. Number 3, I would say that just the schedule got to them. It's not an easy schedule. And it's a schedule it's going to make it really hard to string together like 6 or 7 wins and have that run that really kind of puts you into the hunt for the number 1 seed. So I would say the schedule might be the next thing.
I like those answers.
Okay,
good. If you have a question for us, it's Eagle Eye at NBC Uni. That's NBCUNI.com. If you enjoy the Eagle Eye podcast, please do us a favor, rate and subscribe wherever you get your pods. If you're watching on YouTube, please click the like button and subscribe there as well. It's just day 1 of training camp. We weren't supposed to talk for an hour, but it's day 1. We were excited. So we're going to have pods every single day of the Eagles practice. That might not all be the full hour, but
some might be longer.
Some might be longer. Any final words, Rube?
No. See you out there tomorrow.
All right. Sounds good. For Reuben Frank, I'm Dave Zangaro. This has been Eagle Eye, presented by Nissan. We'll talk to you soon.